Welcome back, everybody. The History Guy here. Well, for some reason, whatever that reason might be, the most popular videos on my channel have almost always been the first video in any new Millennium Dawn series on Hearts of Iron 4. Millennium Dawn is a modern day mod. Now, I've got two mods going here. This is Millennium Dawn, which actually starts January 1st, 2000, but then there's also the Trump and Brexit edition of that, which gives you these additional options of June 1st, 2016 and January 20th, 2017. Now, I am going to go with the regular one, the 1st of January 2000. And my goal this time around is to bring back the glory of the Soviet Union. Now, the reason I'm going with January of 2000 versus 2017 is that by 2017, a lot of the options that I want to have available to me as the Russians are no longer available because of the choices they've made. So I need to go back far enough in time to where those options become available. So this is obviously a pre-9/11 world where we've got Bill Clinton still president of the United States. This is just before that contentious 2000 election. You've got Tony Blair in the UK, and you've got Gerhard Schroeder in Germany, Jacques Chirac in France, Jiang Zemin is still there in China. And so we'll see kind of what's happening throughout the world as we go along. But the goal is I am Vladimir Putin, and I'm going to restore the glory of the Soviet Union and conquer the world in the process. So let's dive right into this. We're going to go on normal difficulty. We're going to take on Russia. And Millennium Dawn is historically a very slow-moving simulation. It's very resource-heavy, even on a decent system that can run other Hearts of Iron 4 games. So, with that said, you can expect that I'll probably drop in and out as conditions warrant. So I'm not just going to be simming straight through and recording everything. Looking ahead, just to let everybody know, I will be fairly soon, hopefully announcing a schedule of upcoming live streams. Some folks have been asking when I'll be live streaming again. That is definitely coming soon. Also, tomorrow, which would be Friday, will be my next episode in the Ultimate General Civil War No Infantry campaign series. So you can be watching for those. But let's go ahead and take a look at the options available to us here as Russia in 2000. So as you can see right here is what I'm looking at, the Red Menace. That's where we're going to go down the goal of restoring the USSR. It's going to give us all these annex war goals against all the former Soviet republics. And those options were no longer available in the 2017 version of this. So I didn't do that. So we'll have to go with the Grozny Offensive at some point. Chechnya, obviously. And it looks like that precedes any other diplomacy focuses. But we do want to focus on the economy. So I'm going to start there with an economic focus just to kind of get things off on the right foot. Focus on industry as well, as I often do when I get started. And let's look at where kind of we can have the biggest bang for our buck, so to speak. Experimental rockets. I'm not entirely sure I need to worry about that too much right now. Let's go ahead and look at land doctrine, though, just so I can get something going there. I'm thinking, obviously, I've got very little manpower, which kind of surprises me a little bit. But I think we'll go with mobile warfare doctrine. We'll go with speed. Look at the armor situation. Looks like we've got one new type of tank available to us. Everything's pretty well caught up in a lot of different places here, so we'll go with the ones that aren't caught up yet. I think I'll get a couple more doctrines going. I want battlefield support. Okay, so there's that. Now let's take a look at our civilian factory situation. I'm curious about my infrastructure. It's pretty terrible, actually. Especially out here in the barren wastelands. So we're going to work on infrastructure, especially down in this region here, because this is probably where our focus is going to be early on with the military. So I'm going to boost these bad boys all the way up. And then as needed, I'll work on other things. let's see what we've got. We don't have a lot of factories. It's kind of disappointing, actually. I'm not real worried about my Navy at the moment. We'll go with some missile cruisers. Actually, where am I at on convoys? So I got a ton of convoys available. So let's build a couple missile cruisers first. I don't know. We'll queue up 3 of them to start. We've got unassigned divisions. I'll deal with all of that. I don't really need to show you what I do there. I'll do that off screen. But at least this gets the ball rolling with everything. And then I'll just kind of organize what I need to elsewhere. Let's look at the situation here. As far as, wow, there's a ton of advisors available. But what I desperately need is to change my civilian economy, and especially to change my conscription laws, because volunteer only just ain't going to get it done as far as the Soviets go. So we're going to need that manpower. So we'll dive in and we'll see what happens as things go along. I think once I unpause, there'll be a couple of quick things here, so we'll deal with that first. But you can see how pretty slowly this game sims compared to a lot of other ones. New Security Council members. So there's going to be a lot of little things happening that don't really affect me all that much to start. Now, I could probably speed this up if I make some changes to the graphics, but alright, we'll come back when something interesting happens. Al-Qaeda Summit in Kuala Lumpur. Obviously, 9/11's coming up soon. Alright, so we're into February now of 2000. A couple of things I've noticed right off the bat. First of all, I only have 63 divisions in my army, which really surprises me. So I've broken them down into the default Russian Theater 1, which I'll rename at some point, and that's basically my Western Theater. And then I have my Eastern, Far East Theater, which is 22 divisions that are over here kind of scattered along the borders with Mongolia and China. So, yeah, that's definitely going to have to change, but the problem is, of course, manpower. Now, manpower seems to be replenishing pretty quickly. It was down to almost 0 there for a minute, but it's all of a sudden gone all the way back up. So I'm obviously replenishing that manpower. That's going to have to be one of the very first things I spend some of my my political power on, is changing my conscription law so that I can start getting a little bit of a recruitable population. I'll also have to look at that in my national focus tree to see if there's anything I can do with that. In the meantime, I've moved my army, at least my Western army, onto the border of Ukraine. Seems like a natural place to put it while we do exercises to build up the experience so I can make some changes to how my army is set up. And I think I'll do the same thing over here with the Eastern Army, just to get them going, building up those experience points so that I can edit kind of the formation of my units. I've got a lot of different things I have to produce just to keep up with everything I need right now, and that'll obviously change once I make those changes to the structure of my units. It looks like I need a bunch of things, so I'm not going to worry about that a whole lot right now until I make those changes and see what I still need. So right now I'm waiting a while. I've got 30 days until the next type of tank are ready to go, and then some various things. Nothing major is going to happen right now, at least not until we get through our first economic focus here. And then we're going to have a choice to make, either to work on industrial project, which is going to get me 6 civilian factories, which would actually be really handy, or go down this route, which is going to give me some political power and some stability. I'm thinking that for now I'll go the industrial route. Just get this industrial project, get those 6 civilian factories, get these 6 military factories. And it looks like my manpower actually is climbing now, so I'm feeling a little better about that. It just started out low for some reason. With that said, the other thing I'm looking at here is trade, and I've got a ton. Other than a shortage of rubber and of chromium, I've got a nice surplus of just about everything. So it may be that when I start to expand, where I have to expand first is I need to look for places that I can get that rubber and chromium. And it looks like right off the bat, Kazakhstan's got a ton of chromium available to it, which would basically make me all but self-sufficient. Rubber, I'm guessing, is going to be down here in the southeast. Let's see what happened here. Northern Ambition. Sweden is taking steps to turn away from its neutral foreign policy doctrines. Whether that will remain in a more active Swedish role in international peacekeeping or a more decisive role in starting local military conflicts still has to be seen, however. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's go ahead to industrial project. And like I said, I want to look at rubber down here in the southeast. I'm thinking probably in here there's got to be, yeah, there's quite a bit here. So it won't be that easy to get in there and take that. But there may be some other places I can get rubber. In the meantime, if that's the only thing I have to trade for, I'll feel like I'm doing okay. All right, here's our first chance to make kind of major waves. Public elections are being held and the vote will soon be counted. All major parties are looking at one another to form up or antagonize in government. Who could possibly win? Developers note the ruling party can defend its title if it has 20% popular support. Another party can take over if they have 30% or more popular support. All right, so we're going to go with politics change. We're going to go with the communists one. That is a first step toward the resurgence of the glory of the Soviet Union. So you can see now that it is no longer Vladimir Putin. It is now Gennady Zyuganov. I'm going to butcher that name, I'm sure, but that's what we went with. So that is now the ruling party with 29%, the communists. So we'll see how that affects things moving forward. Doesn't seem like it's going to do too much right off the bat. But as things move along, it definitely will have an impact. Let's see where we're at on research. We're about to finish up these tanks. So we'll see what we want to do next there. Maybe we'll work on these light tanks over here. All right. Whoa, what is going on here? All right. So apparently all of my former friends are unhappy with the fact that I have become communists again. So Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Belarus, Armenia, Kazakhstan have all left my faction, which means I've got to move my armies, which apparently are in places they're not supposed to be. So that'll probably take care of itself, I would guess. Let's take a look. Yep, they're going to move back out. I've got this one little piece of my country here. Alright, a lot of things happening. We're going to update the tanks that we're producing. We're going to change our research. Upgrade these tanks here. We got to get those exile divisions out. Our manpower, yeah, it's been low. That's nothing new there. So nothing else happening anytime soon. All right, May of 2000. We finished our air doctrine. I've gotten my first 3 armored divisions into the field, so that already gives me about a 5% boost to my military makeup. We need to build that a lot more rapidly than that, and I think I can do that now with the increased manpower that I've got. So we're going to add a 4th tank division to the queue, but I also need to think about adding some infantry as well, because I'm going to need it. Let's see, where are we at? We're only at 7 on army experience, so that's got to get up there a lot faster before I can do a whole lot. I don't appear to really have a basic infantry division. Of course, it is the modern era, so those don't really exist anyway. Let's see, maybe we go with Spetsnaz Brigade. Let me see what those look like. Looks like they've got mountain divisions, which I'm going to need some of those, and some mechanized. Internal security division. That's infantry with light mechanized. So that's probably the way we're going to go. We just might want to rename that. In fact, why don't I just do that? Why don't I just go back to that? Okay, it does not contain any special forces. We're just going to rename this bad boy. If I could spell. So we're going to make an infantry division. There we go. And so that'll be kind of our stock infantry moving forward. And we'll queue up a few of those. I don't know, we'll just throw them down here somewhere. That works. We obviously don't have the equipment to do that, but we'll produce it. Coming up, nothing for a while here. Industrial project's almost done, so I'll stick with this for just a minute while we wait on that. Let's look at production. Obviously, I need... What do we need? Oh, boy. Mechanized and light mechanized. So we're going to have to start queuing up some of those. Let's see, where do we want to do that? I guess right here. Definitely need some more military factories. Those are coming as soon as this industrial project is finished. That gets me 6 new civilian factories. And now we can queue up the military industrial program. Another 2 months, I'll get 6 more military factories. All right, Supreme Court of Ethiopia. Yeah, that's not anything I think we're too worried about right now. So we'll just kind of skip over that. All right. So we've got an opportunity here to make the first significant change with my political points. And, okay, Israeli forces retreat from southern Lebanon, so there's some things happening there in the Middle East. Early mobilization is going to be a big key for me, and I'm able to do this in part because I changed my ruling party to communist. So you can see that I had a 70% hit on civilian and military factory construction speed. And joint ally desires is pretty rough too. So this is going to make a significant change to that, which will be really helpful. And then that's going to allow me to go ahead and look at, instead of just working on my infrastructure, let's look at building some more military factories. And I've got plenty of places to build those. And I'm going to start down here where the infrastructure is high because that'll be really helpful. So let's get those going. We're actually going to, I think, queue a couple of those up ahead of the other stuff. And we'll start focusing on getting more military factories. So a couple of things happening here. It's June of 2000. We've completed another couple of researches. Golan Heights have been ceded to Syria, which I guess that'd be this region right here. So that'll be interesting to see how things continue to play out down in the Middle East. Let's look at industry for a minute. So we're a little ahead on this one. I don't think we'll go that route just yet. So let's focus on some things. Decryption and encryption, that'll be helpful moving forward, especially as I get into wars. Air doctrine, air. Okay, we definitely need to upgrade our air power. These are our fighters right here. All right, let's go that route. All right, we're waiting on military industrial program. Once I complete that, I think we're going to start focusing on diplomacy. This is going to give me a little bit of political power, gain in base stability, which right now my stability is actually only at 34%, which is affecting everything in a negative way. So we've got to boost that up. And then we'll start looking at going down the route toward the USSR. So there's the finish of the military-industrial program. That's going to give me 6 more military factories. Kind of starting to work on my combat width a little bit, making some changes to my tank division. So I want to try and get them to 20 if I can. And let's go ahead and switch over to Grozny Offensive. So what this is going to do is it's going to give me a 2% boost in stability. It's going to give me a declaration of war on Chechnya, which won't make much of a blip on the world tension radar, so I'm not too worried about that. World tension's at 0 right now anyway, so we'll go ahead and choose Grozny Offensive. The world will complain, but they won't do a whole lot about it. All right, so we've got to start getting more mechanized units going so we can get those infantry units in the field. Definitely need more tanks, but mostly that's an upgrade situation rather than needing them to deploy into the field. So once we get a little bit more as far as the Army experience goes, I can stop with those exercises so we can start producing more surplus materials. Let's see. It looks like most of them have got some decent experience now. And we're up over 200,000 in available manpower, so that's helpful too. Got a while before I can get more political power, though. So a historical event that happened for Russia, the Kursk submarine disaster. Many of you, if you're old enough like me to remember this, you'll remember when this happened. The Russian Oscar-class submarine K-141 Kursk suffered a faulty weld on a practice torpedo, which caused a peroxide explosion and subsequent detonation of at least 5 torpedo warheads. I don't think I knew that was what the cause was. Russian Naval Command greatly underestimated the situation and declined international help on the basis of crude allegations that NATO might be involved with the sinking. Although many of the crew members survived the initial explosions, which were even registered by seismographs on the in the U.S. state of Alaska and were trapped under the sea. The slow and ineffective Russian response ultimately led to the death of all 118 sailors. That is horrible, and I don't even want to think about that. That actually gives me a 2% reduction in stability, which basically means that the stability boost I was about to receive for my current national focus is going away now. So that kind of stinks, but so it goes. Alright, let's continue building up our motorized. It's September of 2000 now, and one thing I noticed as I was just kind of looking around, yeah, I know we already kind of dealt with that. I guess this is like the world news version of that now. One thing I noticed as I was looking at factions is that, let's see, where is my faction view here? Come on now, where is it? Factions map mode, here we go. So, Germany, not a part of NATO. The United States, not a part of NATO. I can't remember if at this point in history Ukraine was historically a part of NATO or not, but either way, they are not currently a part of NATO. So, that's interesting. I don't know if they chose to drop out or if that's just a glitch in the mod that is keeping them out of that faction. But anyway, no faction for me, no faction for the U.S. at the moment. Communist Party is only at 30% popularity. It's actually going down slightly every day, so I might need to make a change at some point to fix that. But we're waiting now on the Grozny Offensive, which is going to have me declare war on Chechnya. I guess I should probably get an army over there to deal with Chechnya. So let's go ahead and at least briefly put a stop to the things that are happening there. We're gonna send about 50 divisions over here to surround poor little Chechnya, so that we're ready to just kind of gobble that up really quick when the time comes. There's my mobile warfare doctrine complete. We'll continue down that path, and we'll get ready to gobble up Chechnya here in a couple of weeks. All right, here we go. Grozny Offensive. The Russian Soviet Federative Republic goes to war. May the heavens help us. We've declared war on Chechnya. This is going to happen really, really quick. Oh, I didn't actually give orders to conquer said Chechnya. So let's do that. Oh, look at Chechnya go. They just jumped in on my territory right off the bat. Where is my army? Why are the rest of my forces not there? I guess they all decided they didn't need to be there. Alright, we're going to send some of these guys down this way manually. Well, that was fast. I just needed to take the one territory, so there you have that. So let's very quickly kind of reissue the orders back to the border with Ukraine. Although I believe that I'm probably going to be going after Kazakhstan first. USS Coal bombing. This was one of those little things that we didn't know at the time was actually building up toward 9/11. It was part of that same Al-Qaeda network. Osama bin Laden was behind that. And we're sending our condolences to the Americans for that. The war is over. And let's take a look at what's next. Now we can go nationalistic sentiment, which will actually hurt my stability, or appease Chechnya, which will actually build my stability. It looks like I can do either one and still go Red Menace. So we're going to appease Chechnya. Which, with Chechnya defeated, we need to consider how to integrate it back into our realm. We should integrate former rebel leaders into the new bureaucracy and give Chechnyans as much religious independence as possible. Yeah, I'm cool with that. All right, let's do that. So there's that. So we're going to be able to start getting some air wings assigned. I'll deal with that off screen. We're going to have... Oh, I guess we got to actually gobble up Chechnya here. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Now that war is complete. So now we start thinking about what's next as far as political power goes. I don't know if we want to go to an open country as far as regulation of goods goes. Probably not. Taxes, same thing. I'm not entirely sure. I think moderate's probably good for now. we could go with partial mobilization. That might be the way to go next, just so I can continue to easily build up my factories. I've got 300,000 in manpower now, so that's really nice. My divisions, I'm now up to 70. Started out with 63. I can actually rush a bunch more into the field if I want to. Russia, okay. Yeah, that was really weak. I'm sorry. All right, so let's look at this now. I think I'll go ahead and queue up a few civilian factories. I've been focusing a lot on military factories, and I need to continue to do that. But we'll queue up a few civilian along with additional military factories. And we'll continue to focus on... we got to build up Chechnya's infrastructure now, too. Alright, we've got these unassigned divisions now, so we'll take care of that. This is an all-armored army right now, this one that has 8 divisions in it. I think that should be everything. Am I actually producing nukes? I'm not. You know why? Because I don't have any nuclear reactors. So we need to build some nuclear reactors to allow for the construction of nukes. So let's build up a few of those. Those seem like good places for that. I'm going to actually queue up one of those right off the bat. I want to at least produce a few nukes here and there. I don't think I'll need them anytime soon, but you never know. So we're almost into 2001, and that's probably where I'll wrap things up. I want to try and keep these episodes to 20 to 25 minutes if I can. Keep them small, bite-sized, real easy for you to watch and not have to kind of invest a whole lot of time into them. But I'll try to keep the action and the story moving as much as I possibly can. Just as I jumped out, U.S. presidential election completed. It went historically. George W. Bush has won. He's obviously going to be a little bit more on the militaristic side, so I'll have to be a little more careful with the U.S. under Bush as I would have if it had been Gore that had won that election, I think. So November of 2000, I've got 173 political points now, so what I want to find is somebody that's going to boost my stability, because my stability is awful, and it's affecting everything, including political power gain, which is something I want to build up right now. So let's see who has that ability to build up my stability. There's got to be one in here somewhere. That's a 5% political power gain. I don't think I really need that. How about a popular figurehead? That might be what I need. There it is. Okay, perfect. So that's going to help a little bit. Stability's up to 44% now. I'm going to get another boost here pretty soon with that. And my political power gain, I actually gained a little bit with that too. So once we appease Chechnya, we get another 3% boost. We'll be up to 47%, which is still terrible, but it's a little better than it's been. Okay, a couple of things have happened here. I think we're going to go ahead and look back over at industry for a minute. I don't really think I need more max factories in a state right now. I don't think rockets are going to be real incredibly helpful to me. Artillery desperately needs upgraded though. So we'll do that. Support battalions, I don't think I need to worry about too much. I'm not going to worry about my Navy a whole lot because I'm mostly going to be focused on land fighting. So let's look over here at infantry. Let's see what we can do to modernize our infantry a little bit. There we go. All right, so there we have that. We're gonna finish this up here once we get to 2001. Peace Chechnya is just 3 days away, so let's go ahead and allow that to happen, and then we'll make our first big decision toward boosting the Soviet Union. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go Red Menace. And it's kind of locking up. That's what Millennium Dawn does. That Millennium Dawn's a very resource heavy, as I mentioned at the top of this episode. So everything runs a little slow, especially when you've got the graphics all kind of turned on. So I could speed things up a little bit by making those changes on the graphics. But so let's take a look here. The Red Menace is going to allow change in popularity of the Communist Party by 15%. It's going to boost my stability a little bit more, but it really is just opening the door for the option here to offer a union state to Belarus. And Sweden's going to be threatened by that, and then we're going to restore the Soviet Union. So those are going to be the big ones, and that's going to take almost a year to do that one. So that's going to be a big, big deal. But that'll be for the next episode. We're going to wrap it up right there. I would love to know your thoughts. Use the comment section below. Please hit that thumbs up if you want to see more from this series. I will probably do maybe 2 episodes a week on this series. And like I said, I'll try to keep them in bite-sized chunks, like 20, 25 minutes in each one, just to kind of keep things moving and keep it short so it's easy for you to watch one. Be watching for an announcement about upcoming live streams. Be watching for my next episode in Ultimate General Civil War. And we'll see what else the future holds. So thanks for watching. As always, if you're new to the channel, please check out some of my other videos. I'll put up some links here at the end. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again real soon.